Previously on The Business.
I think there is only one other person in this world that is more addicted to social media, or shall I say, what's the word I'm looking for? Prolific. There's a good word, and that's Mel Attree. Hi, Mel.
Hello.
Hello.
How do you?
I've just sat here while we're playing songs and we're doing our show. You are locked into your phone, and I guarantee you're doing work while you're sitting here.
I am.
I know, which is like fantastic.
Yeah. Or not.
No, it's cool.
Yeah.
It is very cool. Mel Attree from Cerebra. I said Cerebrus. I'm sorry. From Cerebra, you are the creative director there, and also a long-standing person who has a long-standing interest in social media. And having started the business, we thought on Thursdays what we'd do is focus on social media topics. And of course, you came to mind because, well, you're so heavily involved in it. First of all, tell us what your role is. What's a typical day in the life of Mel Attree like? What do you get up to?
So at Cerebra, we're an integrated kind of communications agency. We specialize in social media. So we manage, I manage the content and community team and the creative team. And we're basically coming up with campaigns, ideas, activating communities, engaging conversations, and just building brand presence online with an ultimate view to then hopefully getting feedback back into the business from a social business point of view that we can then translate for a business, hopefully into better business ideas, doing better business, making customers happy. So it's to do with communication. There's aspects of PR, heavily kind of very specialized in social media. And that's what we're known for. But we're expanding, we're growing. We do a lot of online reputation management, research, analysis, that kind of thing as well.
Is it? I mean, it is really, I suppose, the hot topic at the moment for companies. I walk around and I talk to MDs and to FDs and to people high up in businesses, and a lot of people are shaking their head going, oh, they just know they've got to get in on the social media buzz, and they know that they've got to do something, yet they're all kind of running around like headless chickens going, oh crap, we need to do something, but where do we start?
Yeah, it's weird when you say it's like the thing of the moment, because I've been doing this since 2007.
No, but it's hot now.
And it's feeling a bit weird, you know, I'm kind of like, but yeah, I think a lot of people are starting to feel more pressure, and that concerns me as well, because there's a lot of businesses that shouldn't really be on social media, or shouldn't worry about social media, or specific channels, if you like. And I think a lot of guys are just feeling pressure, you know. I think people stand around at parties on the weekend or browse and have a chat, and so-and-so's got so many Twitter followers and so many Facebook fans or whatever, and then they go back into the office and suddenly it's like, okay, we've got to do this quickly, you know. So it's pressure. It's wrong pressure though. It's kind of back to front in a way for me.
Quick answer. I'm not looking for an in-depth one because our time is limited, but what are the businesses that should be, and what are the businesses that shouldn't be on Twitter/Facebook?
I think, you know, what puzzles me is that nobody's actually asking their customers what they want.
Yeah.
And isn't that should be the first place to start. So if you've got, you know, a lot of these companies have got massive email databases of like 500,000 people, 1 million people, whatever. Ask them, what social platforms do you use? What are you doing on those platforms? And would you like us to kind of start engaging with you on those platforms? As a first step, let's just ask people what they want, and they'll tell you. I think a lot of companies have not done that. And out of that, then you start to find what your best kind of platform should be and what you should be using. And often, sometimes, it's actually just sorting out your email stuff. Sure. To be honest.
Is it also not, is video and audio often not underutilized as well? I see a lot of businesses who you know, when you land on their page, you kind of go, you're a thing. And I skim when I read websites because I don't want to get involved. I just want to kind of get a general idea. If there's a video, however, of what they do, I'll click that first. Yeah. Is that not something that is probably not incorporated enough into the social media plan?
So it's a lot about, that's what I'm thinking about a lot, and that's what we're kind of planning. So we've got to understand as well, lots of people like different things. Like not everyone likes to watch videos. Not everyone likes to listen to audio. Right. Not everyone likes to read. Not everyone can read. So it's about how do you package your content and repurpose it across different channels. So take this interview, for example, turn it into a video, turn it into a transcript, turn it into tweets, capture those kind of moments. Yep. That's repurposing content, so I can still get the information I need, but I get it in the manner that I want it, on the platform that I want it in, if that makes sense.
Comfort, are you listening? Yeah. Excellent. Okay, Mel, let's talk about the South African social media environment at the moment. It seems as though we're slowly starting to mature a little bit as tweeters specifically.
Yeah, I think a lot of people have we've got past that 80s kind of IRC chat room. My name is Fluffy Bunny 69 kind of vibe, but now people are actually I have a real name.
How did you know?
No. I have a real name. This is what I do. I'm not afraid to put my face on an avatar, and people are starting to understand how to use it for what they need, so for business, for profiling, just to gather great information. But there's a lot of people that are using channels like Twitter in a non-active way. But they're getting the maximum benefit from the platform as well. So,
okay. Sorry, jump in anytime you want, Kriya. I have so many questions that I want to get through.
But I think maybe we should focus on what we set out to focus on today, and that is Twitter's obviously going public. They want to go public, and they're looking at raising $1 billion to do this. How is that going to affect Twitter as a platform?
So the first thing that happens, this is the strangest thing, because if you're an entrepreneur and you work in entrepreneurial space, a lot of entrepreneurs will tell you to have an exit plan. Like, you've got to build up something and sell it and go do something else. What happens is Twitter, I think, was the last kind of indie bastion, if you like. And because we've all been using the platform for a while, everyone seems to feel like they own it. It's the weirdest thing. So as soon as they're listing, people, they're selling out, how dare they do this? I didn't want this. I've supported you for all this time, and now you're going to turn around and do this, What it's going to do is investment enables innovation, full stop. So what it means is Twitter aggressively now starts moving in a direction of linking massively with TV. That's the next big thing. And there was an announcement this morning where Twitter and Comcast have come together. Now you're watching TV series through Twitter.
Yeah.
That's their ultimate kind of goal, is a very strong link with TV. Listing enables them to innovate. It enables them to do much more. It enables them to take their advertising to a new level, to take their targeting, their marketing, and their revenue. It means that they can start making some decent kind of money.
What does it mean for a company that actively, like, if we have to use F&B for an example, because F&B is huge on social media in South Africa, and obviously they're our main sponsors. What does that mean for F&B? What does it mean for a company that actively uses social media as a platform?
I don't think it means anything. I think it's good, because what happens is that hopefully innovation means they offer better products for you to market and to communicate your services. They have better research behind what's happening, better targeting. It hopefully improves the quality of the platform.
Okay. All right, good.
How have they been making money up until now?
I don't know.
Okay, I'll tell you something that annoys me, and you tell me if it annoys you as well, is sponsored tweets.
Okay. Let's talk about that.
I'd like to, because that surely is a form of income for Twitter.
Yeah, okay. So there's going to be more of that.
How does it work?
So a sponsored tweet it's a social media advert. So it's a paid for tweet. There's two problems here, and I've been thinking about this a lot, because a lot of people say advertising annoys me. I'm sick of seeing it in my stream. I pay no attention to it. There's problems there then, because if we pay attention to crafting tweets, to crafting content for our platforms, and I don't think people are paying the same attention to crafting good advertising copy. If your advertising copy is good and it's targeted, people will notice. But if, like certain companies locally, you're going to give me the same tweet 20 times, upgrade to this deal now and get a free banana, and it's repeated through my stream 20 times every hour, I'm blind to that. It makes no sense, and it annoys me.
Well, it annoys me more than anything else.
Yeah, but I mean, if it's crafted and it's targeted and it's well placed, then it starts making contextual sense, and it means that it becomes more successful in terms of click-through rates.
Okay, but you're talking a whole different subject here, because now suddenly the business of money and making money suddenly changes and becomes an advertising agency or a PR agency or a social media agency's problem to become clever enough to make that content rich enough for people to want to consume it.
But that's what we've been doing with ad agencies for ages. And everyone's saying, advertising bugs me. You're exposed to advertising every single day, whether you like it or not.
Yeah, I think you're right. There's a fine line with that whole indie kind of vibe, that indie bastion, as you put it, that I don't. I'm almost offended when I see an advert sponsored tweet come up. I'm like, ugh!
How dare you?
You know, it's like you're dirtying my screen. Go away.
Yeah.
Whereas if a clever video or a clever tweet comes along that makes me laugh, I'm fine with it.
Different story.
Move on.
Because it feels human, because it feels relevant, and it's properly targeted.
Yeah.
It's the same with when Facebook bought Instagram. Do you remember?
Yeah.
That there were 4 days when people moaned so much, And then everyone, like the top Instagrammers, like, oh, I'm done with Instagram. I'm going to go use this X, Y, and Z platform. That day, I posted a photo, I remember, and it's probably one of my cuckest photos that I've put up, and it had the most likes, and half of those people liking it were the people that said they were moving on. So the irony is massive, you know?
Yeah.
Speaking about Instagram, Instagram's now incorporating adverts into Instagram. What's going to happen
So
there?
same thing, you know. I think it's the same thing. It's if your advertising is good, if it's structured, if it makes sense, if it appeals to the right people,
Do it.
You know, it's there. Do it. But don't, you know, if we're always going to then move away from platforms because they've sold out and they're making, you know, they're developing adverts, then we'll constantly be moving on to the next thing. And I mean, there is nothing better than Instagram at the moment.
How long do you see platforms like Twitter or Instagram, obviously now with them going public, how long do you see them lasting?
It's been pretty impressive to watch, actually. I mean, Instagram just turned 3 the other day, and Twitter's been around for, gosh, quite a while now.
2008,
Yeah.
9,
I think so.
yeah, around there.
I mean, that's pretty long, you
Yeah.
know. And we all kind of thought Twitter was a little bit touch and go in the beginning.
Yeah.
We were using other things like Plurk.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that lasted like a month.
Never heard of it.
So, so we focus, you know, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Google Plus. These are the big ones.
Mel, there is a very clear shift, and it's just hearsay. I don't have any facts or figures, but I'm keen to know your opinion. From the younger users away from Facebook onto Twitter, and a growth away from Twitter onto Facebook, or just simply onto Facebook, by the more mature audience. When I say mature, I don't have figures, but I'm talking 40, 50s plus.
Yeah.
Is that true?
Yeah. So the fastest growing market on Facebook is 45 plus at the moment.
Jeez, I'm good.
I hope my dad's not listening, but if my dad asked me that he'd like to now get involved in Facebook, then I kind of know we're going to the other end of the curve, if that makes sense.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, kids are using Facebook to plan events at this point. It's a party planner. That's about it. And they're moving on to other platforms.
And that's just devastating for a company like Facebook, who have recently listed, who are wanting to have the entire world be on them all the time. And then you have a little upstart, the indie guy like Twitter coming along, who's just stealing all the limelight. I mean, Twitter is, as far as I'm concerned, is just such a phenomenon. I remember when Michael Jackson died. I was in London, and you know, in London, people don't speak on the tubes. They do not talk to each other. And it was as if someone had dropped a talking bomb into the tube, because everyone was bored and they were on Twitter, and the news networks had just broken the story that Jackson had died. And that was Twitter and the power of it that got that whole carriage to start going, oh, Michael Jackson's dead. And you kind of understand that it's beaten news networks, it's changed the whole way that we receive media. It's just such a powerful thing, man.
Yeah.
And I don't think Facebook has been able to capture that.
Well, Facebook, I mean, they're two different audiences, two different things. Facebook's still massive in terms of photo sharing.
Yep.
Photo sharing, events. I think it's become quite clogged. I'm not sure that the advertising model is necessarily working for everyone, and people are getting really frustrated. But again, that for me, the responsibility lies with agencies and with brands and with media planners to be doing effective, you know, how do we use social media advertising more effectively?
Okay, let's get back to the business side of things, because we have kind of drifted
Yes.
off the point a little bit, and I apologize for that. But it all fits together once you look at it from a global point of view. I'd like to ask this question. I have a small to medium-sized business. I'm based in South Africa. I'm doing fairly well. I'm too scared. I haven't paid attention, or whatever it might be, to the social media side of things. I know that I need to do something. In your opinion and with your experience, just give us like a couple of step plan as to what to do next.
So figure out, number one for me is figure out where are your customers, what do they need, what are you selling, because that kind of... And then it's really interesting to look at what stories will you tell, what is your content. So figure out your pillars of your content. You talk about your business, you talk about your brand, opinion, leadership, the industry. Do you want to provide, there's 3 different things. So you've got content that you can curate, you've got content that you can create, and you've got content that your community will ultimately give you. Think about those 3 different things and then work through that phase. So initially, for a lot of small to medium companies, it's easiest to then start sourcing interesting stuff that you find on the web and start kind of posting that. And don't be scared. You can't make any really, really bad mistakes. Think about it as if you were talking to people and just manage it that way as you would kind of your PR. But I would choose one network, or 2 networks. Don't feel pressured to do everything, because you end up doing everything really badly instead of one thing really well. I think Google Plus is really interesting at the moment. Google Plus is great because you can segment communities. So if you're a small business, you might have different partners and people that you need to talk to. So that would be quite a nice step. But also just read as much as you can and watch videos and listen to people and get advice from people. People in the online space are generally quite open to giving tips and advice and that sort of thing. And that's where I'd start. There's masses of information on the internet. Like, just get stuck in.
There's lots of good advice there from you. Lots of good advice.
And maybe stop taking photos of your food.
Yeah, that's
Please.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
I've never, but I know people who have.
Look, I had fish and chips for dinner. Delicious with a glass of red wine.
Mel, thank you so much for joining us
Cool.
today. Please just give us some pointers as to where we can find you on the interwebs, please.
Cool. So on Twitter, I'm at Mel Attree. That's ATTREE. Otherwise, at Cerebra, CEREBRA. We're based in Joburg. Not hard to find.
You're an absolute star for coming in. Thank you for answering so many questions on such a broad topic. And thank you for letting us pick your brain today. Thank you very much.
Cool. Thanks, dude.
There you go. Follow Mel Attree on Twitter and go and check out Cerebra's page as well. You can do that at www.cerebra.co.za.
The Business. Weekdays 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. on balls.co.za. Brought to you by FNB Business Banking.